The event is almost coming to an end. We will now have the Q&A session, the last session of today's event. Many of the questions have already been answered in the Q&A box. Due to time limitation, we were sorry that we couldn't answer all the questions. But we will try to focus on the questions that most of you have asked. Now, let's pick up some questions here. The question is for Professor Takizade. The question is it not difficult for you to teach in different countries from your origin because place and student are completely different, as well as your surrounding, like culture shock or others? Please, Professor Takizade.
Thank you very much for the question. So actually, for myself, I came to Japan in 2011 as a student, as a PhD student. So I studied in Japan. I became familiar with Japanese culture, Japanese society, and also the universities and so on. Now, when I'm teaching at university, different from my home country, I don't feel any, a strange feeling or unfamiliar. I'm completely familiar and considering as a home, like a home. So I have very good feeling, and it is very good to study abroad. So as a student, when students are only in their own country, so what they gain from environment from abroad, from their environment is limited. But when they go other country, they can learn other countries' cultures and get good points from other countries. And whether they want to return back to their home country or they want to go to a third country or even living in Japan. So it is beneficial for them. So yeah, this is my experience.
Thank you very much for sharing your experiences. The next question is for Professor Inamori. The question that please explain that what is power research in detail, please.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. Like, we are doing the research of wireless power transmission. So it means you can send the power without a cable. That's very important. You can use the power easily. Also, you can charge the power easily. It's very important. That's why I'm doing that research. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Inamori. So let's pick up question for our international students. This is question for Jocelyn. Should I be able to speak Japanese fluently before coming to Japan? How about Jocelyn?
Okay, so I'll answer. Basically, you don't have to be very fluent. However, it's more than helpful if you know simple phrases. I know people who cannot speak Japanese at all and is in Japan and they can survive. But on my own personal experience, I knew a little bit of Japanese before coming to Japan, so I could talk with people more. And even if your Japanese is not good, I'm sure that some people will be very willing to help you. Like what in my presentation I mentioned about my friend, and yes, that's it. Know a little bit of Japanese, but don't be discouraged if you don't know. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jocelyn. Next question is for Jing and Ivan. So there are so many universities in Japan. Why and how did you choose Tokai University? First, Ivan, please.
Well, that's an interesting question. Indeed, there are many universities in Japan, but the main reason I chose Tokai University was primarily the employment opportunity. The employability rate at Tokai University is at 97%. So as an international student who is willing to work in Japan after graduation, I thought it would be great for me to base my university research when I was planning to join university on employability of the university. And the second point was the possibility of studying abroad through the university recommendations. And those are the key opportunities the key factors that I based on when I was doing my university research. And that definitely influenced my choice of my decision to enroll at Tokai University. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ivan. How about Chin?
Yes, so thank you very much for the question. For me, for the reason that I choose Tokai University is that there is a office of the Tokai University back in my old university in Thailand. So this is really helpful for me for contacting and sending a document, because we can contact our staff of the Tokai University in Thailand easily. And in addition, I have get some scholarships, so I can study in the Tokai University for easily, and it's really helpful for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chin. Let's move to the next question. The question is for Professor Takizade. Professor Takizade has a lot of experience in studying abroad, including Japan. So what are the good points for international students to enter Tokai University in Japan?
Okay, thank you very much. This is a good question. So first of all, I mean, the first reason that I can mention is that Tokai University is a general university, and different disciplines are available here. So students can benefit by participating the courses at different schools if they are interested. Because nowadays the science became interconnected. We cannot divide or separate social science, humanities, science, and so on. So some students would like to learn more from other disciplines, other courses. So at Tokai University, since it's a general university, this is possible. Second point is that sustainability topics are very important nowadays, and global societies already agreed on these points for setting the target sustainable development goals, SDGs, and so on. And Tokai University is so much engaging in SDG points, SDGs. And at many schools, at several schools, we have SDG courses that professors with different backgrounds are teaching them. So that is important for students to learn and will help them in their future career. In addition to that, courses are available at different courses, including our school, School of Global Studies, in English and also in Japanese. So these are the three major points that I can answer to this question.
Thank you very much, Professor Takizade. Let's move on to the next question. This is question for Professor Inamori. First one is, what is the efficiency of wireless storage of electricity at the current research level?
Oh, okay. Maybe the person is asking about the power efficiency, I think. We have some results. Like if the distance is 5 centimeter, we have like power efficiency is kind of like 60%. So we want to increase the power efficiency like more. Yeah.
Thank you. The second question for Professor Inamori. What do you think will be necessary for future practical applications, considering the advantage of wireless compared to 80-90% for so-called solid-state storage batteries?
Yeah, I think the 80, like 90% is our goals. Like if you have like long distance, and if you can have like 90% is very, very good. So you can apply that system to charge the like this phone, like even the electric vehicle, like a big thing, like the high power thing. So it would be good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for explaining about it. The next question is for Jocelyn. So what do you find is the most difficult thing in student life at Tokai University?
Thank you for the question. When I first came to Tokai, I tried to make Japanese friends, and it was hard for me because I don't know what to say, what not to say, how to read the air. By the way, how to read the air is like, you know, how to suit yourself in the environment. I couldn't do that, but after making a Japanese friend and several along the way, I learned how to place myself in the social settings. So it's always important for you to adapt and to willing to learn to adapt. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Jocelyn. The next question is for Ivan. So do you work part-time job and it is enough?
Yeah, I think most of international students do part-time job. I also do. I remember my first part-time job was actually in the school. I was a research assistant with my African studies professor. That I helped her to translate some documents from French to English. Yeah, I do part-time job, and it's kind enough. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question correctly, but that's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is for Jing. So do you have any favorite place in Tokai University campus and why? How about Jing?
Yes, so thank you very much for the question. So my favorite place in Tokai University is at the main street. As I show in my presentation, this is really lovely and really beautiful, and it will change for every season, and you can change the shape of the tree, and yes, you can know that what is the season in the Japan from the tree on the main streets, and it is really beautiful for me. So this is all my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jing. The next question is for Professor Takizade. The question is, how are you planning to implement your research outcome in society?
Thank you very much. Yeah, this question is also very interesting. So as a researcher, whenever I'm thinking of a new research, I mean, the objective that I have, not only myself, but also many other researchers at our university or other university, is to selecting a research topic to be useful for the society, not just doing a research for publishing in a journal or as a book and so on. So that is important. Publishing is important. Publication is important. But ultimately, the research needs to have social impact. So my field is economics, finance. So whenever I'm doing a research, it needs to have some impact, some economic impact. So ultimately, if I wouldn't do this, I would ask myself why I did this. It's like a wasting of a time. if just the objective is publishing. So this is one thing. Secondly, dissemination of the research is very important, especially sharing it with the younger generation, involving younger generation. So this is what I have done and now doing also. So not only with graduate students, but also with undergraduate students, teaching them how to select a unique research idea, how to run a research, and what are the good research questions, how to write a paper, how to write an introduction, doing a literature review, how to extract policy implications from a research. So sharing the findings and involving the younger generation in the research and disseminating the results by organizing workshops, training courses, capacity building events, conferences, and so on for those who are in academia and also not in academia, outside of this industry. So this is what I have done, and my colleagues also following the same way.
Thank you very much, Professor Takizade. The next question is for Professor Inamori. Professor Inamori, is your research affected by increase of seawater temperature? Global warming issue could make it difficult for your mission. How about Professor Inamori?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. It's very, very unique question, and then I think it's very important to see the world, I think. About the wireless power transmission, there are many parameters in that system. So it is our jobs as researchers and engineers to find the way to design system that adapt to the environment as well. So that's why it might affect the system, but we can think of the design. It could be good trigger to have new research, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This is another question for Professor Inamori. Is it okay?
Yeah, okay.
How many foreign students do you have in your lab?
Okay, currently we have just one, like presented the research, the Mr. Ramadan, but we used to have one Malaysian student and then 2 students from Thailand. And then our building is very, very new. So I think they very, very happy to have research in the building, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for Professor Inamori. Let's move to the next question. This is question for Jocelyn. The question is it essential to do extracurricular in university? How about Jocelyn?
So it depends on what a person you are. I tried to be an extracurricular group before, and honestly it wasn't that helpful because it was all it didn't really help me to achieve what I want, which is to build social connections. So I took a different approach, which is attending Tokai Hyuke. So it depends on what you want to do in university and adjust your goal to that extracurricular activity. But yeah, just that's it. Adjusting with your own needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. So we have not been able to answer all your questions, but as we were running out of time, I would like to close this session with one final question. The final question is for Professor Takizade. Why you choose Japan and Tokai University instead of others, and what is great about it?
Thank you very much. So Japan, I mean about 2010, 2009, I had short trips to Japan and I became interested in Japanese culture, society, very unique and different from other countries. What I experienced, what I've seen in Japan was completely different from other countries' experiences. The cleanness, punctuality, politeness of the people, and so everything is well arranged. This is what unique in Japan. Maybe we cannot see with this degree in other countries. And then I have applied for Japanese government scholarship in 2010, almost 13 years ago. And I got scholarship from Japanese government, Monbo Kagagosho, from Ministry of Education. Then I came to Japan as a PhD student. I did my PhD, and after that, at another Japanese university, I started to teach and also doing research. Then in 2019, I joined Tokai University as an excellent young researcher program supported by Japanese government. So Tokai University, because it was through this way, through my application to government of Japan, I have entered here. And then I feel very comfortable of working at Tokai University because the environment is prepared for teaching and also for research, and I can follow my goals and my plans. So I recommend the students, Tokai University is a good place for studying.